Okay, so before I jump into my 2021 real estate year recap, I wanted to quick show you guys kind of what went on throughout this entire year. Really, the last 6 months, but throughout this entire year. So right now we're in my CRM. It's called Follow Up Boss, and we're in the Deals tab. This basically is where I track everything that's going on, my sales prices, my commissions, and closing dates, all my deals in general. So right now we're on the buying side, right here. And if you look, I have nothing coming up or pending or anything like that, but I do have 700,000 in sales volume closed, just on the buying side. That is totaling up to about four different deals. As you can see right here, here's the sales price. Here's my commission check for that sale. All these numbers are up to date or should be. And yeah, so that's the buying side. I did $700,000 in sales on the buying side this year. And then here is the selling side. So these are all listings that I had. Majority of them closed. Actually, all six have closed, minus one. This one will close January 3rd right here. If you look here, closed deals in total. Here are those. And yeah, so in total this year I closed about $2 million in sales, and I have about $445,000 pending that'll close like the very beginning of next year. So super exciting, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys that so that you had a better understanding of it. All right, so let's start from the very beginning here. December 2nd of 2020, I was officially a licensed realtor. That's when I got my license, and I was excited. I honestly had no idea what I was doing, though. The way I got into real estate was a pretty impulsive decision, so I had no research prior to that. I had nothing. I took the class in October, and I was licensed 2 months later, December 2nd. So I had no time for research. All I was pretty much doing was studying for that real estate test so that I could pass. And we were also going into Christmas and the holiday season and winter. So I pretty much took my first 6 months and just learned as much as I could. Learned how to generate business, learned what real estate was, and then also learned the process between buying and selling a home. I'd say learning the process of buying and selling was probably the hardest thing for me to figure out. After probably the first 2-3 months, I knew exactly how I wanted to generate and go about getting business. And I concluded that cold calling was going to be the way that I was going to do that. Learning real estate, I mean, that's just being in it, studying it, studying market stats, studying where home values are at, where your market value is at, and things like that. So I really dove into all those statistics. Like I said, I day trade, so I'm big into statistics and just numbers in general. But anyways, the hard part for me was once I figured out those two things and kind of had a good idea of what was going on in the market, in my current market, which is kind of the Rockford, Grand Rapids, general area. The last piece I was missing was how do I help someone through the buying process and the selling process? I had no idea. I didn't know, once you got signed contracts, I didn't know what to do after that. So I went to my broker, Susan Kazma. If you're watching this, you're the best. But, and I basically said that I needed, I basically asked her what the process was and that I needed to fully know it before I could really dive in and start, generating my own business. And she said, okay, great. How about you job shadow me? And I thought that was a perfect idea. So she took me on showings, closings, showed me how to order title work, the whole 9 yards, listing appointments, everything. She taught it all to me, which was probably the most beneficial thing in my entire career. So that whole process took about 6 months. Before I finally felt comfortable and ready to go. Now, I was dabbling with cold calling and here and there and just trying it out and being confident, trying to get more confident with it. And funny thing is, I actually set one appointment On like my eighth phone call ever, I set an appointment, and I had absolutely no listing presentation or anything, no idea what I was doing. But I went on that. I had a different agent that was mentoring me in the office. I had him come with me, and it was just super awkward. No idea what we were doing. He was also a newer-ish agent. And yeah, it wasn't super awkward. It was just we didn't know how to go about it, so it was kind of a pointless listing. But yeah, that was kind of what I spent my first 6 months really doing, researching, going over. And I would honestly recommend that to, if you're looking to get into the business, I would recommend that you spend a decent amount of time just learning, exploring all the different ways to lead generate, to get business, to learn your market in your current market. You may have lived there your whole life. I've lived in Grand Rapids, Rockford my entire life. Doesn't mean I know everything about it. So, especially when it comes to statistics and what homes are selling for and what home values are and how to judge that and, things like that. So, I guess my first piece of advice is if you're a new realtor, really take your time and dive into every which way to generate business, to learn your market, and then decide how do you want to generate business. Choose one, stick with it. Once you feel comfortable that you know your market well enough and you can show people around and give them good advice, then start doing those things. And if you need extra help with the real estate process or how a home is sold or how a home is bought, then reach out and get that help before you start actually doing it. So that was the gist of my first 6 months. And the upcoming 4 months were even, I guess you could say, more hectic, but surprised me in a way that I never thought I was capable of. So that's going to be my next little story. Stay tuned. Okay, so the next 4 months, really 2 to 3 months, was insane, and I would say this is where my real estate career really started, and I actually started to do the things that a normal realtor would actually be doing. So after that 6 month period, I felt pretty confident in knowing what I had to do, knowing the process, knowing kind of the ins and outs of the business in a general sense. So I decided I would start cold calling, and I hit it hard. I hit it really hard. My only goal for prospecting was to set one appointment a day. That was really stressful, and it definitely did not happen every single day. And the only other issue that I had with prospecting was I didn't want to use scripts. Now, if you're new and don't know what scripts are, they basically give you the outline or kind of a sequence of how to say things or put things in order, so that you have a higher chance of setting an appointment. I didn't want to use that because I didn't want to sound salesy, right? Well, during that 6 month period, I kind of figured it out that I might need it, but that 2 to 3 month period is really where, after the first 2 weeks of not being able to set appointments but calling every single day for multiple hours, usually 2 to 3, I was like, you know what? I need to learn a script. So I started using a script. I used Brandon Mulrenan's script. It's reverse selling. Brandon, shout out to you. Your scripts are amazing. Everything you teach is awesome. But anyways, started using his scripts, and that's when I started just setting appointment after appointment after appointment, and it was awesome. Now, when I say appointment after appointment after appointment, I was calling a lot. Like I said, my goal was to set one appointment a day. If you're new to real estate or not, one appointment a day, especially in the beginning, is pretty hard to do, and I took that goal extremely seriously. So I would honestly call until I set an appointment. So if that took me 20 minutes, awesome. If it took me 4 hours and I still didn't get an appointment, that was really devastating for me because I took it so seriously. because as I don't know how to explain that. It's just kind of, when I set a goal for myself, I'm out there to achieve it. So if I don't, it really nags at me. But nonetheless, I was really aiming for an appointment a day, and within those 2 to 3 months, I went on about 20 to 25 listing appointments. And again, I wasn't getting any of them. I wasn't closing any of these appointments, and you could probably guess why. I didn't want to use a script. I guess I didn't learn my lesson with cold calling. I thought I could totally pull the appointment off without a script, and that's just not how it went. So after about that 25th appointment that wasn't closed, that I just couldn't get to sign the contracts, I finally decided that I needed to start using Brandon Morenen's script, listing presentation script as well. I did. I learned it. I studied that for pretty intensely for about a week. I'd write down, I'd write down the entire script on a notepad, a piece of paper, once or twice a day. And then I just say it out loud. I have never role played once in my life with another realtor. I've never role played any script, cold calling, or listing presentation. So basically what I would just do is role play it out loud to myself. But nonetheless, I started using his listing presentation script, and the week after I studied that script, I had a listing appointment scheduled for, it was either a Monday or Tuesday the following week. Came in there and I got the listing. That was my first ever residential listing that I got. That pretty much blew my mind, and I dove into the script even harder, learned it a little bit better, and after that, it was like that, I was probably retaining about 50% of the appointments I was going on, maybe even higher. But about 50%, I would say. And before that first residential listing that I got, I also got a vacant lot listing as well. That was really cool. It just didn't quite satisfy me enough because I knew I wanted residential listings. So my first ever technical listing was a vacant lot, a 6-acre vacant lot. That was awesome. I was super stoked that I got that though, because your first deal, I feel like, just hits home. And then a month after I got that listing is when this first residential listing came about. And so I didn't even necessarily had studied the listing presentation script for that vacant lot listing. I just happened to relate and connect with that seller extremely well, and that's kind of how I got it. And then after I got rejected a few more times on residential listings, studied that script and hit it hard and really performed it when I was on presentations or at actual listing appointments. And that's kind of how it went. So that was kind of my 2 to 3 month period of, I don't want to use scripts. I was totally against scripts, to, oh my God, scripts are the best thing ever. I need to learn this and really develop myself in them and learn them word for word, or not word for word, but make them your own, and just have that sequence of, okay, I'm going to talk about this, to move into this talking point, and so on and so forth. I think that was the big missing link I was having. And on top of that, it just teaches you how to more effectively talk to a seller than just going in there blind, honestly. So just to kind of recap that piece of everything, use scripts. If you're new, if you're starting out, use scripts. They make them your own for sure. Use your language, your body language, and everything with them. Make it make sense, but use scripts. They give you the outline. They give you what you need to get going in this business. The following, basically from September to the end of the year, right around September, August, September is when I got that residential listing, the $350,000 residential listing. Now, the following months that come from that are something I never thought was possible for myself, something I never really thought I could do, and it really opened my eyes to age is just a number. People respect young people going out and grinding and working and you know, doing a good job for them. And that's definitely going to be reflected in kind of my outline for the next upcoming, what would that be, 3 to 4 months. Bottom line is, you know, for these last, just learn your scripts and hit your cold calling hard. That's how you're going to get business. That's how you're going to get now business. I hope that was helpful. And the next 6 months the next 3 to 4 months that I'm going to tell you about, it honestly still, I'm in disbelief by it to this day. So I'm excited to fill you in on that, and I will probably be somewhere else because I've kind of just been recording this throughout my day. I hope it's kind of cool. Maybe it's not. We'll see, but stay tuned. Okay, we're on the final 3 to 4 months. So basically August, September-ish to December 2nd, which is basically now. Today's December 8th, but nonetheless, that December 2nd was the conclusion of my first year. And I didn't mention during those first 2 listings that I got earlier in the year, I had also teamed up with my broker, and she had referred me about 3 buyers that I also closed at about the same time that I was securing the first 2 listings. So I had some experience on the buying side of things, but I hadn't had a listing sell yet, and I haven't gone through that process yet. So anyways, I secured those 2 listings, and I just kept the pedal to the metal. I kept prospecting. Really, it was only for sale by owners, which was the only people I kind of had luck with getting listing appointments with and actually closing deals with. It's a great lead source, and it's now business, and that's really what I was looking for. So I didn't have an issue with it. But when you keep prospecting, once you have deals going on, that's how you stay stable in real estate. So that's what I did. And I honestly can't even tell you the sequence or how all these listings came about for me, because it's just such a blur and it happened so fast. Basically in end of September and all of October, I had 6 to 7 deals pending the entire month and a half, 2 months. And November was kind of my big closing month where a lot of them were closing. And it was, when I tell you it was a blur, I mean, it went fast and it was a blur. It was a huge learning curve, a huge learning process. And I just had a lot of deals going on for my first time ever. I mean, if you're new and you're starting to get to this point where you start really building up listings and you know, helping a lot of people sell, it gets really stressful because, one, you're asking question after question after question after question to your brokers, to your team, or to other agents in your office, and you're waiting to get those answers, those questions answered. And that's where the stress really comes in, because in all honesty, you don't really know what you're doing. And this is the experience that's going to allow you to know what you're doing. So I can't go into depth on how the rest of these listings really came about in sequential order, but this was a extremely stressful and learning curve, major learning curve for me. And it was honestly just, I was go. So I guess my big piece of advice is, what you can't do is stop prospecting once you get listings. Never let off the gas, first of all. Second of all, don't stress too much about every little thing that's going on in your deals. When I was doing all these deals, the 6 to 7 that were pending at the same time, I was trying to get answers to everybody as fast as I could. And you know, the wait time between asking the question to your broker or another agent in the office and then waiting for the response, and that's just really stressful in the beginning, because you want, in my mind, I thought I had to respond to my clients as fast as I could, and now that's something that's still a priority for me, but it doesn't stress me out as much. And it's partly because I know now what the process is, and I'm very acclimated to it. I understand it, I think, very well. Obviously, I'm still always learning, but in that beginning period, that's kind of how it went. I wish I could go into more depth about how it kind of sequenced and everything, and I wish I recorded maybe day in the life's more or something for that, but there was just so much going on. And really, if my biggest piece of advice to any realtor that is new or getting to that stage where they start building up a lot of listings or people that they're working with, is to really dial in on that and learn everything you can throughout those processes. And then after that, you regather. That's going to give you the experience that you really need to be a professional realtor, know what you're doing, and really walk people through the entire selling or buying process. So that would be my biggest piece of advice, is if you really are getting busy like that and there's just a lot going on and it's rapid fire, don't get too stressed out. Take a breather and understand that this is the process you're in, and to enjoy that process, because this is what's really going to give you the experience and learning and education that you need for the rest of your career. So with all of that said, that is basically the conclusion of my first year in real estate. I gotta tell you, it is the most fulfilling, stressful, just awesome job you could have. You have your freedom, you have, you're helping people through, really one of the biggest decisions they're ever gonna make in their lives. And I take great responsibility in that, and I think it's something that I hold at a very high level when it comes to helping these people and actually providing and doing the job that I say I'm going to do. And before I kind of sign off here, I'd like to give thanks to where thanks is due. So one of these people that I want to thank is Susan Kazma. She is my broker and owner of Success Realty. Without her, none of this would be possible. Without her teaching me and showing me the ropes those first 6 months, I would be nowhere near where I am right now. Now, another person I'd like to thank is Deb Malamis. She's another broker at Success Realty, but she also is the instructor at Success Licensing. So if you want to become a realtor and you're in the Grand Rapids area or in Michigan, and you need an in-person course, Deb Malamis is your go-to. Go to her. She is amazing. She's the nicest person you're ever going to meet, and she is so helpful and gives you so many insights. And on top of everything, she's also been a coach for me. So Deb, thank you for everything you've done for me. Lastly, I would also like to thank Ellen Olney at our office. She basically coordinates all of our deals. She's how we get paid, and she's another agent at our office as well, and she has helped me monumentally as well throughout this entire year, and just working deals and helping me work with different clients and things like that. So Ellen, thank you so much. And then lastly, I'd like to thank my parents. Without them, I would not be sitting here making this video. Without their support, encouragement, and everything that they have just done and given me is it's amazing. And without it, I would probably be sitting in a college class somewhere, nowhere near what I've learned this year and what I've gone through and all the experiences and everything. So Mom, Dad, thank you so much. If you're still watching, I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.